Welcome. My name is Alexander Daszewski, and this is my proposal presentation for research methods, Dr. James Littles, and I'm here to present my proposal. Statement of the problem. Apostolic parents are understandably concerned that their children grow up to embrace and espouse the doctrines and teachings of the church and over against the backdrop of a culture that is antithetical to these teachings and which poses a threat to the child's overall acceptance and adherence to the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so these concerns influence our style of child rearing, and generally within the church, within the movement, our style of child rearing is more authoritarian in nature. This includes corporal punishment, and it's kind of based on the idea that when children are born into the world, they're born into a kind of raw, sinful nature that must be challenged and shaped toward behavior that is acceptable to God and the church. Belief in the biblical commandment that if we raise a child in the way that he should go, train up a child in the way he should go, the promise is that they will not turn away from it as they get older. And so our desire is to see that our children are raised to follow after the teachings of Jesus Christ that we've given to them, as well as the standards and the traditions of the church culture. So my concern is, what does this do? How does this affect our children's image of God and how they relate to God, not only as they are young, but as they get older and mature into young adulthood? Okay, so the purpose of the study, I'm going to be utilizing a constructivist phenomenological approach. The purpose of the study will be to analyze young adults who have been raised within the context of a United Pentecostal Church International family, a family part of the United Pentecostal Church International in New York. I will explore various aspects of child rearing experiences and how those experiences influenced the child's image of God through the teen years and the post-high school age. I will be basically looking to see how the children's image of God was influenced, or how they found meaning in their relationship with God based on the way that they were raised by their parents, whether their parents used a authoritarian approach or more of a supportive attachment style approach. My purpose will be to study what influences from the child rearing methods chosen by their parents caused them to come to a image of God, and what their image of God means for them from the time that they were young to the time that they finish high school and move on into their young adult years. Okay, so my research question is, how does apostolic Pentecostal parenting affect God image in children? What are the kinds of experiences in their time of being formed and shaped by their parents that cause children to take on a certain image of God, and how they can relate to God and how God relates to them, and what allowed them to come to that place where they are in this time at their young adult years, when they are now able to make decision to follow after God and to follow after the traditions of the church and of their parents, or going in a different direction where they would put aside those traditions and beliefs and strike out on a more autonomous path in life. So the question is, how does our parenting in the United Pentecostal Church affect the God image in children? I think the significance of this study will be to help the church to better understand how our parenting style impacts our children's image of God. I think there is a lot of benefit that can be taken from this study for not only the United Pentecostal Church, but also the Christian church world as a whole, and especially even the local churches that are looking to help their young couples to raise their children in the way that they should go, to follow after God, and what would be the best practices to incorporate into their parenting style that would allow for the kind of results that they're looking for as the children age and mature into adulthood. I think the key literature connections I really saw in the studies of DeRoos in 2004-2006, kind of affirmation. She studied school children in Holland, and the results from her studies showed very strongly that children who were raised in a more authoritarian manner had a more strict view of God, and those who were raised in a more supportive manner were more autonomous and were more willing to be able to make decisions on their own about God and their relationship with God, and to not be so rigid in their understanding of God. And Little's in 2003 dissertation on apostolic Pentecostal families and how the kinds of child rearing method that they have incorporated, which is more of a neo-traditional method that incorporates scripture, but also takes cues from the secular world and tries to incorporate the best of both worlds toward raising their children in the way that is as close to what they believe and gives the children a chance to be as autonomous as possible, but also to hold on to the traditions of the church and the faith that is being passed down to them. Okay, study procedures and methods. I chose to go with the qualitative approach because I'm not so much interested in numbers and surveys, but I'm interested in experiences, subjective experiences, and wanting to get a narrative, a more qualitative understanding of the co-researchers' experience. Also, we'll be using the phenomenological approach. The phenomenological approach is focused on how the subjects or the co-researchers interpret their experiences and derive meaning from those experiences and apply them to other facets of their lives. So what I would be looking to do is to see look for themes and inferences that connect the experiences and allows me to draw some inferences and conclusions from those experiences to better understand how those meanings are made sense of in the real world. Further avenues of study, I think a mirror study with subjects who have departed the AP movement, the Apostolic Pentecostal movement, definitely would be very interesting as a juxtaposition to this current study. I think another more challenging approach would be a longitudinal study of Apostolic Pentecostal families raising young children to get more of a kind of a deeper understanding and breadth of information at each milestone along the life of the young children as they grow in this culture, this subculture of the Apostolic Pentecostal Church. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for listening. God bless you all.